Weekly Sauce, episode 52. Nailed it. Yeah, episode 52. Last week we had Joel Waterman of the Club de Foot de Montreal. Unbelievable guy. Great conversation. Soccer player talks like a hockey guy, but you know what I mean? Very weird. It was one of those things I couldn't figure out. As usual, we're brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, and use Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. This past weekend, me and some of the other Hot Sauce Sports guys, we went and we played at the Mike's BBQ Rub charity tournament that raised money for leukemia. Great success, good stuff. Thanks to Uncle Mike. Thanks to Mike for inviting us over, and we had a great time playing golf. I still suck at golf, which is amazing, and I'll continue to suck at golf for the rest of my life. I've established that. I've realized that I will suck at golf the rest of my life, and I'm okay with it. But one guy that doesn't suck at the thing he does is our guest today, John the Bull Makdessi, fighter in the UFC, hailing out of RDP from Laval by way of Halifax, all over the world. How's it going, John?
I'm doing good. How are you?
No, we're good, man. We're good. Happy to have you on, man. We're both big fans from Montreal. You know, obviously, you and there's a handful of guys that still fight in the UFC that are from. What do we call it? La Belle Province, that are from La Belle Province that are still fighting and representing us, and you're representing us in a good way, in a positive light too. So we appreciate you coming on, man. Where are you at now? You're in Montreal?
Yes, correct. Yeah. I'm living in RDP right now.
How's that?
Yeah, it's good. Very good. I'm surrounded by the water. It's very peaceful. It's pretty cool.
That's it. RDP is not bad. There's some areas in RDP you can get a little sketchy, but there's some RDP areas that are really nice.
Yeah, I'm in the area where it's like where it's next to the water, so it's very family oriented, beautiful, and everybody's friendly. So, yeah.
Like close to Gouin, close to that castle there with where they make
Boulevard. I'm next to Ice Cream Gelato.
Yeah. Okay.
Boulevard Gouin, Montreal East.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. So shout out to Gelato. If you guys want good ice cream, come to Boulevard Gouin. All the Italians, my close friends, the Italians, they own it. So.
Oh, it's great that I've been there before. Yeah.
I'm always there. So.
All right, I'll catch you there. We'll have a gelato. We'll have a nice little. What do they got? They got biscotti. They got Nutella. They got mocha. They got all of it, huh?
Yeah, very good actually. Very good.
You can't go wrong with a good gelato, man. No.
No,
it's amazing. Yeah. I love gelato. Yo, I've been looking for gelato place here in in my town in California, and I just couldn't find one.
You're in Bakersfield.
And then,
it's like the
most
anti-Italian place in the world.
But luckily, this past Saturday, I found an Italian restaurant here. It's called Frugati's, and they had gelato, authentic gelato, because the guy immigrated from Italy and all that stuff. So he had all the tradition with him.
What flavor did you get?
We got salted caramel. And I also got the tiramisu.
Tiramisu is good. John, what's your favorite gelato?
There's a vegan chocolate. They have like a dairy free. I try to stay away from dairy because I developed lactose intolerance, so I stay away from dairy product. But if I do have a gelato, I like the fruits like mango, strawberry, and also vegan chocolate.
So I'm not vegan. I feel like I need the dairy, but as you can see, me and Alex are a little on the chunkier side, so we like to eat the dairy, and we don't care for lactose intolerant. we just get her done.
Yeah, sure.
Where are you training out of now? I know you had switched camps.
Yeah, well, right now, I'm solo, right? So I've been like kind of solo when I branched out from TriStar back originally like 5-6 years ago. I went to I did some camps in Milwaukee. Now I went to Thailand. I train with Phuket top team. Just keep developing my skills. Now I'm at a point where it's like I mastered myself in a sense of because martial arts is essentially personal growth because it's one-on-one. It's not as much as people say it's a team sport. It's not really a team sport. It's individual. So I just kind of do my own thing. I have my own brand, John the Bull. You go johnthebullmakdessi.com. I got bullwear and all that stuff. So focusing on myself. And my last camp was in Arizona, Phoenix. I connected with Ben Henderson. I work with Ben Henderson. I work with Javier Torres, some Mexican fighters. I'm a big fan of Mexicans. I'm a big fan of boxing. Anyone that knows me, anybody that follows my career, it's no obvious. I'm always going to keep it standing. I'm never trying to take it to the ground. You know what I mean? So my style is very counter striker, right? So I like to keep it exciting. I like to keep it standing on the feet. So I met some Mexican fighters. So I worked a lot of my boxing skills, and of course I'm always training all my skill sets, but mostly striking.
Perfect. I mean, the thing is that you fight like a Mexican, right? You just said you like the way Mexicans. It's head down, hands
Yeah,
up, going
chin
forward
down.
all the time, just bang bang all the time, and that's exactly. I never would have thought it, but that's exactly what you're telling me. And I was like, I'm thinking back to all your fights, looking at your last fight actually against Ignacio, and it's pretty much the same thing, right? You just go forward, 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 and you're an impressive fighter, man, because you're a highlight reel away from just knocking a guy out, and you take the punches and you roll through it. And I didn't know that you were a solo. I thought you were well, I knew you had left TriStar. I knew you weren't affiliated with them anymore. Was that amicable? Was that something that you just decided it was a change of pace? What was the reason there?
Yeah, no, I mean, no, there is no, I have no, it's just like in life, you just gotta, things, you grow apart, and it's time for you to, just, when things get stale, you gotta just keep moving, you know what I mean? But TriStar is always gonna be a part of me. It's you know what I mean? It's like a relationship, right? You're with a girl for 20 years, you guys get divorced, but people, they make it seem like it's not, you know, we are emotional. Anyone that knows me, it's like, yeah, it's normal, we're emotional, because when you're passionate about what you're doing, like I've been doing martial arts since the age of 6, so it's not something that I just woke up one day and became a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like something that I've been doing for my whole life. So I, you know, sometimes we get emotional with words exchange. You know, I know there was some you know, bad blood in the past, a lot of exchanges, people, rumors. There's a lot of different rumors, but you know, I started off at TriStar, and it was time for me to branch out and be my own man. You know?
So you fought for many, many years in the UFC, and you fought some really great names. Looking at your career, who would you say was your toughest opponent?
I mean, every fight is a tough opponent. Everybody's always, like,
Yeah.
in the fight game. It's not like a hockey season or a baseball season where you have 60 games in a season where you can have some bad days. You know, and because of UFC is one of the biggest organizations in the world, and the 155 division is so stacked. It's so stacked. So every fight, it's like your last fight. You know what I mean? It's like you're fighting. It's always more stressful.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. You know, like top of my head, you know, guys like Donald Cerrone, Sam Stout. Sam Stout was a tough opponent. A lot of good guys that I faced that I was hurt in the game. Like my last fight, I broke my foot in the first round. I broke my foot. I came from an ACL surgery, so my knee wasn't really, my knee was bothering me, and I tore, and I had developed some pain in my shoulder. So at my last fight, I fought the guy with a jab and with a left kick. You know, I was injured going into that fight.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I was actually curious because after the fight you broke your foot. I was curious which round you broke your foot. Now you're telling me first round. That's crazy, and you won the fight.
Yeah, I know it. No, I'm very lucky. Could have been worse. You know, like look at poor, what's his name, Chris Weidman. Some injuries you're able to fight through it, and some injuries your body can't do anything. Like, you know, when you break it, you know what I mean? Some things, like when I fractured my jaw, when I was fighting Cerrone, and I felt my jaw misplaced. It's one of those things where it's like, do I continue fighting, or do I save myself? Because I have to protect my health. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like I gotta save myself. You know what I mean? For another day. You know, you look at Vikings, you look at Warriors in a sense where, do I retreat and live to fight another day, or do I let my ego take course and continue fighting until I get knocked out? Like you look at some fighters, just in general combat sports, some guys, they're too much of an ego, and they're in there getting a beating, and that's gonna cause you long-term damage. Sometimes you gotta wave it off, you gotta pull back and retreat and reassess and reevaluate yourself and come back to fight.
Yeah.
You know, with Donald Cerrone, I had to call a timeout because I knew that my jaw was more important than continuing the fight. And I would love to rematch Donald Cerrone. I would love to rematch Lando Veneras. A lot of these guys, they don't understand fighting for me, it's mental. And many times I was there mentally, I wasn't on.
And you mentioned Lando Venata. That was a big win for you early on. You lost to Donald Cerrone, the broken jaw. I remember that. It was devastating. And I was in a room full of guys, we're watching like, fuck. As much as we like, Donald Cerrone is a fan favorite, right? So it's like he always get support. But like I said at the beginning of the show, when you're from Montreal, it's like, you want the Montrealer to win. And it was like, fuck, man, this could have been like a really good fight. And it just, unfortunately, that's how it happened. But now you mentioned Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone is a guy who's his last few fights, he's been, he's been getting knocked out by things by punches that normally wouldn't have tagged him or wouldn't have dropped him early on in his career. So it's an example of guys that, that just maybe don't know when to stop. And I don't want to, I've never been in there, so I can't tell you, but sometimes you see it and the first thing to go, they always say, is your chin, right? So as soon as the chin goes, it's tough to bounce back from that. So hopefully he's able to bounce back. But you're super smart, and the way you think and your thought process, it's always been impressive to me, just following you on Instagram, following your career and the things that you say, it's and your battle with mental health, and you shine a good light on the sport and on a good light of the warrior mentality.
Appreciate that. I try very hard, to try to be a good role model.
That's it. So tell us about your battles with mental health. I know you had spoken about it. You've been pretty outspoken about it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has mental health in different. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school. I can't diagnose myself. I never really got a diagnosis. But I mean, at the end of the day, we all have our own issues, our own battles, our own demons. Look at Mike Tyson. Everyone has a podcast now. Everybody's talking. I don't smoke drugs. I don't smoke weed. I don't do nothing. I drink coffee. I'm a coffee lover. I love food. So when people tell me, John, you should cut to 145, because
fuck that shit.
Most people say like 155 is a tough division for me because relatively I'm a smaller guy. But then I'm like, man, I love food so much. There's so much I can sacrifice. Like I sacrifice, like my fun time. Like I'm always in the gym, right? As a fighter for 10 years, I made martial arts everything. Like I put it before my own happiness. I would, if my family was getting together, I was in the gym. If my friends are going out, I was resting to go back to the gym. So it's like it's a sacrifice that a lot of the general public doesn't know, the sacrifices, the choices we make to become an elite athlete. So for mental health, for me, it's just I believe just everyone's struggling with mental health in different degrees, and I'm causing, and it's the month of awareness of mental health. So I wanted to make a nice post on my social media. I got a team also who helped me with juggling everything, because when I go into a training camp, it's eat, sleep, and train, and I really turn off my social media. So I have people who are handling my social media, but I'm also very hands-on. I need to know everything goes through me first.
That's good. Sorry, Alex. So you mentioned coffee. I know the one thing that I need for my mental health is a coffee every morning, and if I don't get it, I'll probably lose my fucking mind. How do you take your coffee? There's only one answer.
Yeah. Well, I love Starbucks, but espresso. I love Starbucks in a sense of like espresso. I like it dark, strong. I like honey, and I like it with almond milk.
All right, I'll give you a pass on the almond milk or the oat milk. I'll give you a pass, but you got to go black. Black is the only way. You just burn your insides.
Yeah.
Exactly. You were born in Halifax. When did you arrive in Montreal?
Yeah, so my parents are originally from Lebanon. They immigrated from the war in the 80s. I was born in Nova Scotia, Halifax, and at the age of I was very young, 2-3 years old. They immigrated to Montreal.
Okay, perfect. And now my follow-up question. So since we're talking about foods, what's your favorite restaurant in Montreal?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a favorite restaurant because I travel a lot, and also I'm a big cook. So here's the thing, right? I like to cook my own food. I'm a little bit. This is where like my mental health kicks in. I developed an obsession. I have like a way of eating and a way of cooking from all the years of weight cutting, because I'm so paranoid of, because when you have to get a certain weight class and always cutting weight, you develop certain habits, and you can't go to a restaurant and start being very picky. So I just cook my food most of the time. But if I do go to a restaurant, it's usually a steakhouse, sushi. I'm big on sushi. I love nice sushi restaurants, but I don't really have a specific.
And since you're Lebanese, do you have any favorite Lebanese spots, or what's your favorite Lebanese
Yeah.
dish?
Well, yeah, 100%. My mother. I go to my mom's house.
Everybody's the same answer. It's like you'll never find an immigrant that tells you that there's a restaurant better than their mother's food. Never.
No, man. I mean, nothing's better than going to your mom home cooking. I
Oh
love home
yeah,
cooking. It's something about home cooking. Like I'd rather be with a group of friends. Like I'm a type of guy where it's like, you invite some guys, you make nice barbecue grill and you chill. Like I'm
That's
not, like going to restaurants is a little bit like, overrated.
Okay, you're not a foodie. You're just a guy who likes to. You enjoy food with people. You enjoy the experience more than the actual meal itself. Like you're not saying, "Oh, my favorite dish is this dish."
No.
You're more of like, "Let's have a barbecue, some good meat. Go to Adonis, get some good meat. We're good to go."
Adonis, man.
Adonis
Yeah,
is the best.
100%. Yeah.
But
It's the people, man.
yeah, exactly. I get my meat from Adonis. You have to. Adonis is the best out of all the
They're amazing.
supermarkets. Is the best meat I find.
Yeah, they're great.
No, I was saying like on the honest Intermarché and IGA, couple of food markets.
Yeah, it's true. IGA is pretty good too. But you're paying out your ass when you go to IGA. That's the problem. IGA is like super expensive. Everything else is super expensive. So I go to Adonis. I stick to Adonis, or I go to like a local butcher shop. You know what I mean? And I get some good meats, like a nice ribeye with some good filet mignon. We're good. Slap it on the barbecue, and that's good. A little salt, pepper. That's all you need. So you spoke about your favorite fight. You've had some crazy wars, including the last one with Ignacio. Ross Pearson was another one. We could talk about Donald Cerrone. What was your favorite, like where it was the decision war that you fought, where you guys were both bloodied? What was the one that you remember that you're always gonna remember for the rest of your career?
That's a good question. I mean, if I look back, if I really think about it, if I really reflect, it's not even in the UFC actually. I don't know if you guys remember. It was in a Winnipeg organization, CFC.
Yes.
And I fought, like I was co-main event, and that was a good fight. But it wasn't like bloody though. I TKO'd him in the second round, but it was just like it was a good fight. You know what I mean?
That's it. And that's the thing too, is like you get that feeling. So actually, leads me to my next question. I know you're not a ground guy, but what's sweet? I think I know the answer, but what's sweeter, a KO win or like a sub or a submission win?
Yeah, 100%. No, I know. It's always KO. Always like if you're able to trap the guy, and like obviously everyone knows me for my spinning back fist. That was like it was a hard thing to set up, And when you set it up, it's a good feeling when you practice it in the gym and then you're able to execute it.
How long does the spinning back fist take to apply inside the fight? So you you have it in your arsenal, but it's something that you have to telegraph a little bit. How do you hide it, or how long does it take, kind of thing, to kind of just say, okay, this is where I'm going to land it right now?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? It's like a mental thing, and then it has to become physical thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta really visualize it in your head, and then you have to execute it.
Because you see guys that get the spinning back fist, and they're kind of like, they're stepping in, they're telegraphing it, they might switch stances just to trick the guy a little bit, and then as soon as they turn their back, the guy's kind of waiting for it, so he backs off. And the ones that don't expect it are in short distances, like your KO, and those are the ones that are most important. So I like watching the spinning back fist because I see how much work during the fight. If you rewatch it after, you can see the fighter setting it up, which is the same thing with you.
100%.
And after your fight with Ignacio, I believe you called out. Well, you didn't call out, but you were talking with Nasrat Hakparast, and you were talking about having a fight because I think your fight got canceled. I believe, right? You were able to fight him.
Yeah, well, so the thing is with that whole Nasrat thing is, first of all, it's easy to go on my Twitter account, and when I'm bored at home, I'm relaxing on the couch, and like this guy, because the thing is that the reality is, everyone knows that the way UFC works is you don't really have options. You don't really choose who you fight, whatever. The UFC offered me Nasrat to fight, so I didn't really have an options. You know what I mean?
You can't say no.
He can't. Yeah, exactly. He pulled out. He was a training partner at TriStar, and me and Faraz Zahabi, we kind of made an oath where we're not gonna fight each other. But then that kind of was really weird because then Nasrat called me out, and it's a complex story. So he called me out again, and I truly believe in my heart that Like this guy has 4 or 5 fights in UFC. I've been fighting since 10 years in UFC, and I'm just tired of fighting newcomers. Like fighting newcomers is not going to bring me any closer to the title contention. You know, when I fought Donald Cerrone, it was 2 weeks notice, and I didn't really have any preparation, and I was kind of pressured to fight him at a short notice. You know, when you're not surrounded by the right team. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, what does he always say? Look at the high level fighters, high level athletes. What do they always say? You know, it's always about my team, the people who are around you. And sometimes you're not around good people. And I'm not. And it took me many years to it's still a struggle to be surrounded by right people. You know, you got people who are they're in and they're out of your life, but they're not really there. If they're not there with you 24/7. The only person who's with me 24/7 is myself. You know. I don't have the luxury. You know, not everybody is born in a fighting family. Not everybody has that Floyd Mayweather entourage, you know. So Nasser wants to fight me because I'm a big name. And in my eyes, it's like I want to fight a top 10, top 15 fighter. And the only reason why I would want to fight him is just to just like these young little kids, you know, to put him back in his place in a sense of, you know. But he had his opportunity and he pulled out. And this kid is all over the place, you know. So So I don't know what he's not. Honestly, he doesn't even impress me. I don't know. You look at him. You go look at his resume. Like who did he fight? He didn't fight nobody.
He's had some like good deals and stuff. But he hasn't. Your list is a lot stronger than his.
If you compare opponents, if you look at opponents, I know I fought Anthony Nakawijawani. I fought Donald Cerrone, Sam Stott. I fought like high level guys, you know, strikers. Like I mean. So it's all the way you look at things, right?
Yeah, it's true, and it's tough. It's tough because you're a guy you've had all these highlight reel wins. You've been able to to build a name for yourself, and you know the UFC wants to keep you along, but you also don't want to be the gatekeeper. You don't want to be the guy that all the young guys fight. You don't want to be, you know, it's sad to say, but we mentioned him before. But Donald Cerrone at this point of his career, he's kind of the guy that all the young guys want to fight. You know, like he fought Hernandez. You know, like he's fighting all these guys that all the younger guys want to fight because they know that if they can beat him, then it gives them a little bit extra going to the top. So I respect you for saying, listen, I'd love to fight all these guys, but the reality is they're not helping me in my career. Do you have an agent or a manager, or do you do everything yourself?
No, of course. I have someone that I knew. I have someone that I works with me and negotiates and talks on my behalf 100%.
So Ayman was telling us that the way that works with the UFC is that they call you, they say, do you want to fight this guy? And if you don't say yes, if you say no, then it goes to the next guy. Like you don't have two options, right? Is that how it's been with you too? You
look at you think about it. There's 600. I mean, it's probably counting, right?
Yeah.
Like when I came into the organization, there was like 300, 400 fighters in the roster. Like 10 years ago. Now you're talking about there's over 600 fighters in the UFC.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
but you know they cut all the time, but they also bring in, and now with Dana White's Contender Series, they're always bringing in guys. Alex,
it's like rolling the dice.
That's it exactly.
Of course. Who would be your dream fight if you had to choose one past? Like, let's say, like, someone who retired, and who would be, like, one current fighter that you, like, as a dream, like, not Nasrat, but, like, a dream fight that you would like to have?
With a name like Nasrat, I don't know, it's no dream. But Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, and even Gaethje. So
you're looking at the top. You're looking at the top four right there.
Yeah, those guys are. If I'm gonna test my skills, I'd rather test them with legends. You know?
And out of all time, like let's say you have to pick one fighter all time, who would it be? Out of even retired guys.
Conor McGregor.
Conor, yeah.
He loves striking, and I love striking.
And he's a good.
Oh, that would be cool.
He's a good striker too. Different styles. Actually, me and Alex were actually talking about this before. I'm not a karate guy in no way. I just did jiu-jitsu. I wrestled in high school, and that was it. And I boxed a little bit. What's the difference between Kyokushin and Shotokan?
Well, Kyokushin is like Muay Thai. So what does that mean? That means these guys, they condition their body to receive a lot of punishment. they don't believe in movement. They don't train strategically. Their sole purpose is to hit you as hard and brutal and to devastate you, like Muay Thai. Thai guys, they'll stand in front of each other and they'll go for blow to blow,
Right down
exchange
the
for
middle, yeah.
yeah, they're and then you have Shotokan. It's more of point sparring. It's more of a point system where they're gonna move, make you miss, and then they're gonna hit you like a sniper. It's more of a sniper mentality versus like guns blazing.
So who's the best? Who's got the best? I mean, other than you, who's got the best Shotokan in the UFC? I mean, I'm thinking about a guy like Lyoto Machida.
Here's the thing, right? A perfect like similarity, but they're more experienced than I have because I only did it for 3 years. Shotokan. You got, of course, Lyoto Machida has a very similar style, but he also adapted it to his own style. And of course, Wonderboy Thompson.
Oh, really?
He comes from the same background that I did, but he's been doing it for a way longer time than I have.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I thought you meant Tom Lawson. I was like, Tom Lawler.
No.
I didn't think Tom Lawler was a
Wonderboy.
guy.
Yeah, no, Wonderboy.
Yeah, Wonderboy is Wonderboy is probably, I think he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. I love watching that guy fight, man. He's so smooth, and they kind of fight the similar style, Machida and Thompson, right? They have that wide stance on the balls of their feet, kind of pigeon-toed, and they kind of wait, and then they crack, and that's the best. So what about Kyokushin? Who's got, other than I think GSP was a Kyokushin guy, who's got the best Kyokushin in?
And you're talking about MMA. Well, Kyokushin and mixed martial arts. At the top of my head, I don't really know who comes from a background of Kyokushin, but I was a big I used to follow K1, and you got like Andy Hook is one of the top.
Oh yeah,
Andy Hook was a top Kyokushin guy.
Would you if so MMA is where the money is at, right? But you made a good career in kickboxing. If kickboxing was as big as MMA in terms of notoriety, if it was big here, would you have stayed a kickboxer?
Wait, 100%. I mean, the funny part is that most people don't know about me. I never wanted to do mixed martial arts. I was always attracted to kickboxing, K1, but I can't. But there was no way you can make a living out of K1, and obviously it's all the way in Asia and Japan. And I live in Montreal, so like ideally it wasn't any good benefits, and also you need to have good connection. You need to have good contact. Like, to be a fighter is one thing, but this is a business. People don't even know. Like, people don't understand the business, and you need to have good people around you to be able to help you get there.
As many good fighters, as many successful fighters as there have been, there's been 100 times more guys that didn't succeed, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not even, the sad part is the dark side of mixed martial arts. The dark side is the business aspect that people don't know.
Alex, last question before we let John go.
What did you, in each of those gyms you've been to, so you've been at TriStar, you've been at Rufus Sports, and now you're with MMA Lab, I believe, right?
I'm associated with MMA Lab, yeah.
Yeah. What is something that you've learned in each of those gyms?
Also, before I forget, also UKF. I don't want to leave out my other friend.
Okay, UKF.
Yeah, because Javier Torres he's a good friend of mine, and he was in my corner. Ben Henderson couldn't make it because he tore his ACL. But you know how it is. You got to be very.
Bendo.
I don't want to leave out anybody. But if I wanted to be the best, you want to surround yourself with good fighters.
Absolutely.
So I was very fortunate, to surround myself with good fighters. Like I trained. I was always on the undercard of George St. Pierre, and then I went to Anthony Pettis. I trained with Anthony Pettis, and now I'm training with Ben Henderson. So it's these guys are. It's a great way. It's a great way to learn. So it's experience. My goal is just to get is to absorb knowledge and experience, and just to see. For me, life is not about restriction. I hate feeling restricted. I feel like there's so much out there as a human being, and to grow. That's why I developed a mindset of open mind, free spirit. That saying, people keep on saying, free spirit, open mind, is letting go of your ego. You got to let go of, like feeling stuck. I don't like to feel stuck. So you got to open your mind and open your horizon and travel the world and experience. You have to experience.
I assume you're a meditation guy and a yoga guy.
I meditate, but it's a different type of meditation. I adopted a meditation of Stoicism. It's a way of thinking. meditation for me is not sitting down at a position and making weird noises. You know, my way of meditating is a philosophy. It's a mindset. It's the way you think. It's the way you approach obstacles. And Stoicism is something I got introduced to, and I find that it's very practical.
Good. I mean, because I was gonna ask you, what are your tips for me to meditate? Because I got to calm my brain down. I'm all over the place.
But that's the thing, brother. That's the thing. You cannot calm your brain down. You have to accept it. You have to accept it like water, like the ocean. Like you have to accept the thoughts. You have to accept your thoughts, and you just have to try to find clarity. And by clarity is through exercising. When you're in motion, tension is released, right? Like if you're sitting there and just going through your thoughts, then you're not going to be happy. So it's like running. It's like Bruce Lee always said it, right? Be like water. Why does he say be like water? Because when you're flowing, when stale water becomes dead, right? If you stop moving, you just stale. If you just sit there, it's not healthy, because you need to connect everything, mind, body, and spirit. You can't just connect the mind. Everything has to work together.
Yeah. I mean, you're telling me a lot of things here, John, and I understand them. I know where you're talking about, but now there's never. I guarantee I don't think I'll ever be able to like place them and like slow it down. Like sometimes, like I know I can dumb it down and I can veg and I can just like kind of like forget about the world, right, for like a day. But then like that's Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday. Watch the fights, wake up Sunday, do whatever, and then Monday we come back, and then me, Alex, and the rest of the guys were in our group chats and we're talking about how to organize the week. So it's like we're all I'm all over the place all the time. But I've always wanted to. I used to do yoga a lot and it was great, but I wanted to meditate. But you're right about the movement. Like especially after like a jiu-jitsu class, I don't think I can explain to you the feeling that of emptiness my brain has after a jiu-jitsu class. And it's not a bad emptiness. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. It's like as if I left everything there, all the negative there, and I'm just flowing. And I use the word. And the same thing with now I started riding bikes, and it's the same way. I agree with you. Keep going, keep moving, and you'll be fine. And exercise is probably the best way to do it.
Well, here's the thing, brother. We are all made of energy. We're all particles of energy. I know it sounds crazy, but we're all energy, and you just have to find an outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex, what's your outlet?
Beer, alcohol.
Pick Whitney.
Honestly, watching sports, man.
Yeah, it's
it keeps my mind off. But soon, hopefully soon, if everything goes all right, I'm gonna be starting my jiu-jitsu classes, and I will be starting boxing as well. So.
You messaged me about jiu-jitsu probably like 7 months ago.
It's not. I can't yet. Not yet.
If you lived in Montreal, I would have dragged you.
Of course. Yeah. No. If I was in Montreal right now, because I'm right now, it's all about the
business and stuff.
Or the US and all my
your papers.
Yeah, my visa and stuff. Trying to get ready and stuff. So I'm trying to finish this first, get that off my mind, and then start my routine.
You got to do it, man. Listen to Coach John over here. John's telling you got to move.
Course.
You can't fucking sit down all day and do nothing. You got to move.
Walk.
Walk. There you go. John, thanks. I appreciate it, man. That was awesome. We're huge fans. We really appreciate taking the time. I hope you had a good time with us. We had a great time with you.
Yeah, man. It was a pleasure. Let's do another. Let's try to do it another time.
Absolutely, man. We'll do it again.
Of course.
We'll do it maybe before one of your fights or after one of your next fights, which is we don't know yet, to be determined. Nasrat or not Nasrat. Hopefully it is. So we can end that saga, or if not, maybe you get a top 10 guy, and we can start moving you up the rankings so you can get to that title shot, John. Appreciate it, man. Again, this episode is brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, and use hot sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. If you want a really nice sweater like the one John's wearing right now, where can they buy it, John?
Yeah, man. If you go on my Instagram, you have the link bullwear _TM. Also, I'm starting another affiliation, bullnutrition.com supplements. So, and I'm also working at a gym in RDP. So hopefully I have my own facility to train and coach people.
Nice, good stuff there. What's the gym? Is it open, or can you name it?
No, it's still getting ramped up. It's a new development we're opening up.
Nice. Well, I'll be there definitely. So again, John, appreciate you coming on. Alex, as always, peace.